the weird obsession people have with mixed race people. So growing up, you know, me being half Hispanic, half black, people telling me, oh, you want to be white, you think you're white, oh, you look white, all this stuff, being told I want to be white, being told I look white, being told all this stuff, even though I don't look white, that's the biggest reach ever. But being told all this stuff, right? I remember being a kid, right, being light skinned and being afraid to ask my mother for sunblock because she was gonna try and accuse me of wanting to be white, right? That's out there, right? That's crazy shit. And that's just goes and shows you how deep the colorism runs with black people and in the black community. And it's not just black people, it's other ethnicities too. I remember being in high school, right? And my little classmates, when I would leave to go to the bathroom, would have discussions on whether I was black or white in class, right? And I would get told, like, why do you look white and your family's black? I would get told all this stuff, and I never tried to be anything I wasn't, I was constantly telling everybody I'm black, constantly, especially at this retarded ass, racist ass high school I went to, and I was constantly like just trying to be me, right? I don't want to be something I'm not. I just want to be loved, right? I just want friends and love. That's all I've ever wanted, right? But that's not what it comes down to. What being mixed race and being light skinned and being a man, it comes to society, fetishizing what you look like and objectifying you, and it comes to this sick obsession people have with mixed race people. It comes to this sick obsession people have with classifying us, with trying to tell us what we are, trying to guess what we are, trying to put us in a box. It comes down to that. And mixed people are human beings. I'm a human being. I want life and love like everybody else. I want the same opportunities like everybody else. But it comes down to this worldview and how people have this obsession with us, with classifying us and trying to tell us who we are, and treating us, a certain way and stuff like that, and having some weird like fascination and some weird like desire towards us, whether it be male or female, because I've had weird encounters with other men having some weird obsession with me, or just acting weird as fuck towards me, and having like some weird like attraction and some weird desire going on. I feel like I don't feel like I know, like it's factual. You can Google this is facts. People have some weird desire and obsession with mixed people because of, what is it called, hybrid and vigor, something like that, hybrid vigor, something like that. The perception that mixed race people are more attractive, which is true, to a certain extent. But I feel like people just let it escape them. They let their feelings escape them. We're still human beings, at the end of the day, and we have feelings too. Just because we're seen as more attractive, that doesn't negate our feelings. It doesn't take away from how we want to be treated and how we want to be viewed in society. I'll tell y'all one thing, especially when I go out with my mom, it's just me and my mom now because my brother died and my father died. I'm always getting stared at and looked at by people, and she noticed before I did, especially other random people would just be looking at me and staring at us both and like cutting their eyes and like taking glances and stuff. And she would notice this, but she would tell me, and I would be like, no, it's all in your head. That's what I would tell her, And I noticed that because there's not a lot of people, especially me being light skinned, there's not a lot of black mothers walking around with their light skinned children, you know what I'm saying? Especially me being mixed, there's not a lot of that going on, especially in Miami. It's just a bunch of people being cliquey and in their own groups, the Latinos, the Haitians, the Bahamians, the Jamaicans, the Black Americans, there's not a lot of that going on. So even though it's more common for there to be mixed race people in America, I still feel like it's such this like this new thing. It still happens. The looks and the stares. Me and my brother especially used to get stared at a lot as children, you know? And it's like, it's like, it just sucks sometimes, you know, because I was an innocent kid in high school, right? And this fascination people had with me turned into bullying, you know, it turned into people hating me while simultaneously desiring me, you know? And it turned into like all this bullying, all this bullshit talking, you know? And I was just this innocent kid, you know, and I just wanted to be liked and I just wanted friends, you know, and I wanted love, you know, and it sucks, you know. Sometimes I feel like everywhere I go, like sometimes that's why I'm afraid of working sometimes. Like I feel like everywhere I go is just this fucking circus act, and especially other men. I'm constantly getting other men acting very fucking weird towards me. Very, very obsessed almost, you know, very like fan behavior, you know, and it just sucks, you know, it's all this weird behavior and weird energy, you know, and I just want to be like every other human being at the end of the day, you know. And guess what? You know, you would think all this attention, like all this like celebrity treatment, this fan behavior, you would think like it would equal romantic partners, but it's never been that way for me. It's never been that way. It's just been this weird ass behavior, this fucking jealousy, this bullying, you know, and it just sucks at the end of the day. And I just feel like, you know, why can't I get the positive aspects of being mixed? You know, why is everything so negative? Why can't I get the romantic partners like I desire? You know, why can't I get, you know, all that, the relationships I desire? It's just been negative shit after negative shit. What, just for somebody to say I'm attractive, you know, just for another nigga to act weird towards me, you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not just black people either. It's not just black men. It's just all types of men. Like, it's all types of weird ass behavior. Them fucking, like, the stares. I get a lot of stares from every gender, you know. It's a lot of stares. It's a lot of weird behavior. It's a lot of everything, you know. And I'm just a human being at the end of the day, you know. And it's like, why can't I get the positive aspects about being mixed? Why can't I get all the attention from the romance partners and like a girlfriend, you know, stuff like that? It's just always bullshit, you know. It's always fan behavior, celebrity treatment, you know, celebrity treatment and infamy, you know, infamous treatment, you know, weird ass behavior from other men. Is always shit like that. It's never the good stuff, the good aspects, which should come with me being mixed, right? So that's what the downsides of it, you know, this obsession and what mixed race people, because we're viewed as exotic in society and we're viewed as highly desired, you know. And it's a lot of videos you can see right now on YouTube about light-skinned men, the hatred they endure from the black community, and the simultaneous obsession like black men have with light-skinned men. And it's not just black men, it's other men, the obsession they have with mixed race men, you know. And if it's this shitty for us, you know, mixed race men, I can't imagine how it is for women, you know. Mixed race women probably get harassed. I remember just seeing something in the news there's one time about how this girl was raped and killed. She looked mixed, you know. She was raped and killed by this guy in her apartment complex. It happened someplace up in Central Florida, you know. And I can't imagine the torture and the torment mixed race women go through with all the treatment, you know, all the attention, you know. I can't imagine it, you know. And yeah, that's just what I had to say, you know. I feel like we're people too, you know. We should, like, sometimes like the attention is the problem, you know, because it can turn into infamy, you know, stuff like that, the obsession, you know. And I just feel like we want the same things every other person else has. We want the same thing every other person wants, you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes I wish I would wake up and my life would just be different. You know, it would be how I want it to be. You know, it would be how I always pictured it in my head, you know. Yeah. Take care, y'all. That's just what I had to say.